Welcome back to Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime. Now I know that already things are pretty scary. It hasn't been months since I posted a video. And I know, and also I'm sick. That's not really scary though, that's kind of to be expected. It's, past the middle of October. It's sick season. They won't give me a flu shot till I'm healthy. Them's the rules. But anyways, despite being sick, Halloween must go on. And so today, on Spooktacular Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime, I have a tale that one couldn't possibly not be afraid of, with an estimated length of long. Damn it. It's Pokemon Strangled Red. There are tons of stories out there about hacked Pokemon games. Man, you hit the nail on the head when you said that. That is completely true. Someone had to say it. But some of them are really quite neat, and then you immediately lose me. Whereas in the second sentence, and I've lost hope. So thank you very much. But yeah, some of them are really neat. Such as the one about a version where you get a ghost as a starter. I can't recall the name of that to put in this story, but I think it was a thing. I'm pretty sure. Some are ridiculous, though. Silly stories about individuals dying after playing a game, or the game talking to them. Which I don't recall the ones where the game, game cartridge starts speaking to the author. But if I did read one of those, man, those are the best. Love those stories. God, though, don't these writers know less is more when it comes to these stories, ? Ah, well, I digress from the point I haven't made yet. I grew interested in these hacked games, of course you would, that are apparently in any thrift store, on eBay, or handed out by homeless people to random passerby. Also, I don't remember that from a story, but this is your story. This is your part of the canon. We're just gonna go with this. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting these creepy people. I didn't have the pleasure of being just creeped out by people I don't know. A shame, really. I merely found this particular cartridge in a trash bin when the garbage truck backed into my neighbor's dumpster. Wait a minute, what about the thrift store? You mentioned a thrift store. Also, why are you paying attention to your neighbor's garbage when it's, presumably going to garbage land? Which is where garbage goes when the garbage man takes it. But I noticed the game. And asked the trash man if I could take it. Because he's the Lord of Trash and he calls the shots. And he didn't seem to mind. It was thrown away after all. And he governs over trash, so, that's how things work here. I, of course, checked with, I made a boo-boo, unlike the author, my neighbor, to confirm if they actually didn't want it. That they threw it away for fun. Though they seem perplexed, as if they'd never seen it in their life. Also, this is completely unrealistic, because as we all know, if for some reason you find a game in your neighbor's trash that they're throwing out, and it's not, overly dirty or something, you take that shit, and you walk away. That's the nature of people. That's how things are done. This story's unrealistic. Their son made a grab for it. A little boy who saw the Charizard on the cover, crying out, "Pokemon, I want mommy." Those two things don't go together. But his mother told him no, seeing as how I found it, and as we all know, your possessions can easily be taken away from you if someone else looks at them. You forfeit ownership. But he didn't even have a Game Boy anyway, so I kind of feel okay stealing from him. He just liked Pokemon. Too bad I'm taking his stuff. Thinking nothing more, I simply went home, looking at the cartridge's sticker on the way. Just a plain old red version, the sticker torn slightly across Charizard's neck, but that was expected with such an old game. as with most old games, the neck part of the sticker will get ripped, because that's the tradition of video games. It's kind of weird for the ones that don't have any neck on them and they have to improvise, but what are you going to do? But I had blue version as a kid. Fun fact. So I was a bit eager to see the, albeit minimal, differences red version had. I was rather disappointed by what I saw when the title screen showed up. Pokemon Strangled Red version. Well, damn it, it was a hack. Hacks were neat and all, but they had zero monetary value. You got that for free, I'd like to point out. So, there you go. The originals, quite valuable by now. No, they're not. Maybe boxed, but no. Also, you found that in the garbage. I feel that's worth noting. And I wanted to play Red anyways, not this crap. I'm above this crap. Oh well, comma, it was free, comma, might as well try it. You know, walking in front of cars is free too, but it's generally not recommended, so you don't have to go through with this. But alas, there were more words. The name was odd, however. Strangled Red? That made no sense. And this already made a lot of sense, so for it to go off the rails now is simply ridiculous. Not even in a morbid description of someone being asphyxiated as people turn blue when choking, not red. Colors, so I have this figured out. Who knows, comma, maybe there was a pair of these hacks that I just got the red one. I have a weird optimism towards stupid parallel scenarios. But the more I thought about this, though, comma, the more interested I became. My initial disappointment turned into curiosity. All of you are so curious with these video games. Go watch Kamen Rider. I'm curious about that, and there are no ghosts except for that one season, and nobody liked it. But I wanted to know what the creator had made, and I was going to know everything I saw. The first oddity I noticed, the start screen had a Charizard next to the trainer instead of a Charmander. Also, comma, the Pokemon never cycled through like the original versions did. It just stayed Charizard. Always stayed Charizard. Even after 5 minutes of waiting. I just hung out for 5 minutes. I didn't have anything better to do, but I included that in the story. Shrugging, I hit start. Noticing there was no Charizard cry as I did. This is bizarre and out of the ordinary. Like there was supposed to be... The Charizard wasn't supposed to be there, so you expect the cry to be there? Inconsistency, no. I saw there was a continue option, so I figured I'd do what everyone did with used games and see what the previous owner had done. Now the spooky ghosts can escape. Let's see. No. I blinked in surprise. That was 6 dots. No. What do you mean, no? You can't tell me no, video game. The game wouldn't let me continue no matter what. Though on the 4th attempt, I heard the Charizard cry. For some reason, I don't know. Quiet and barely audible, but just audible for me to include it in the story. Will it lead to something? Probably not. But there, shrugging it off, I decided to just hit new game. Like I would have done after checking the old file anyways, thus rendering this entire paragraph completely pointless. The screen cut to black for a while. No Prof. Oak, no starting theme, just nothing at all. Eventually, the screen came back, showing a bedroom, 2 beds, 2 TVs, and a computer in the corner. My trainer sprite was the usual one, you know, red. Consistent with the original red version of red, the color red. I was curious as to why it didn't ask my name, though. Why wouldn't it want to know more about me? This is the weirdest thing to happen so far. That was answered as I opened the pause menu, though, noticing my trainer was named Steven. No, this isn't my real name. Well, I'm tempted to call you Steven, though, so we'll see how long that lasts. If you give me your real name, I'll use that instead, but if you don't, I might slip a Steven in there. Or some stupid crap like that. Steven's an okay name, calm down. But this game isn't self-aware or haunted, at least not that I know of, Steven. It just had a name chosen already. It was, this copy of Pokemon is independent, and that's okay. It's not the 90s anymore. Curious, though. I saw he had the starter amount of money, no badges. He didn't look like Red, though, even though I said it was the standard trainer. But, it wasn't Red. His hair was longer, almost reaching halfway down his back. The monstrosity. Red's usual smile replaced with a confident smirk. That's not really that different, but alright. Honestly, I found this sprite much cooler than Red, which means it was probably really lame. Next, I checked out his Pokemon. A single Charmander, level 5, named Mickey. Nothing was odd about it, ... or should I say, her. With the name and all, giant revelation. Let's continue. She had beginning Charmander stats, those famous beginning Charmander stats that I'm sure everyone is well aware of. Only knew Scratch and Tail Whip, basic stuff that a level 5 Charmander would know. The game seemed relatively normal, except for the fact that it was hacked. Returning to the game, I walked about the room, noticing Steven's long hair was present on the back of my trainer's sprite when my back was turned to the camera. I didn't recognize the house, but I descended the stairs to see more. Downstairs was another trainer who spoke to me the instant I came down. Mike said, "Ready yet?" Steven said, "Yeah." I assumed this quote-unquote Mike, as we're going to call him, was my rival, pre-decided for me. A replacement of Blue, most likely. Though I thought back to the bedroom having 2 beds, realizing they weren't just rivals, they were brothers. Brotherly rivals. They talked back and forth, basic Pokemon dialogue, like how this is Gen 1 and I'm going to use rap and it's going to be really, really annoying. Become a Pokemaster, talk about shorts, all that good shit. Catch 'em all, stuff like that, before having a little argument over which is better, Charmander or Squirtle. Charmander. Easy answer. Which, of course, led to the introduction of battle. Like most things. And like the one versus Blue in the lab. Oh, how similar. Simple enough. Scratch, tackle, till I won purely for having the first turn. So you didn't get the potion from the PC. Amateur mistake. I took note of how much better Steven's sprite looked in combat than Red's. A different pose, his hair looking like it was blowing in the wind. A brief, minor upgrade, but still much nicer. Red, you look like crap. I left the house after some more banter with my quote-unquote brother. That's what we're going to refer to him as. Stepping out of the Pallet Town theme. Which is where my house was. And the theme song, that's where I live. Going to the east, that's not true. You go north from Pallet Town. If you go east, if you go north and then east, then you're going to the fucking Pokemon League. So you're not supposed to go there yet. Just go north. And then go north, and then go through 3 and 4s. Anyways, going to the east. Sure, yeah. I found this was indeed Pallet Town. The house was simply on the outskirts to the west, which was mere footsteps away. I noted there was no mysterious grassy field like in normal Pallet Town. You never noted that, which means you just noted it right now. Wandering about, I decided to check in on Red's home. Someone should mind their own beeswax. His mother was inside. I knew her well. When I talked to her, she commented on how handsome Steven looked. Security! Hoping her son would look up to him as a role model for when he became a trainer himself next year, which of course led me to realize this game took place a year before the original Pokemon. Red was even upstairs playing the SNES in his room, commenting, "I'm gonna be the best too when it's my turn." I was starting to like this hack. It was interesting. That can't be true. But a completely new adventure, a different character? Hell, Steven even seemed to have a history with people in his town. And who wouldn't want history with people like these? A reputation, a personality beyond a silent protagonist, who's no longer silent because he's up in his room playing Super Nintendo. The people in town talk to him as a person. No one talked to Red as a person. Everyone just said ... at him. Making conversation, not just spouting tutorial crap. Not everyone spouted tutorial crap. Just most everyone in the game spouted tutorial crap. Get your shit together. Even Blue's sister had new dialogue. They seem to be in a relationship too. Okay, we're starting to project a little bit, and I think we should stop before this goes off the rails. As the dialogue ended with a kiss and a heart over her head. Oh, you're ruining things. But Prof. Oak simply wished me well, giving me a Pokedex to aid my adventure / finish his job. He wasn't giving it to me to be the reason behind the adventure like other Pokemon game out there. You know the one. That one game. He gave it to me out of kindness. And because now your mother is single, so you won't be home. So, and your father's not around, but something to help me on my way. A gift. I was liking this more and more. I like gifts. Remember when I stole this gift earlier? That was great. And more with each second. The game seemed to have an actual story now, as opposed to the one before it that didn't have any story elements at all. I was somebody. Unlike in real life, where I'm nobody. Not just a cookie-cutter protagonist anyone could be. I'm better than anyone now. Not some blank sheet that could be replaced without notice. I'm better than sheets. The story was different, though. The actual gameplay remained unchanged. I went north like I was supposed to. Went from town to town. This is when we just gave up on directions, apparently. Just like, I went north, then I went into Viridian Forest, then I got lost for a while. Anyways, collected badges, received the praise of the leaders, which is what I was really in for it for, praise. Steven's fame even seemed to spread, as some NPCs would talk like they knew him. Everyone talks like they know you when they're giving you a tutorial. I used Miki for every battle, and she was growing surprisingly fast. She handled Brock with ease, even though a fire type against a rock type, ground type... No, that doesn't work, but whatever, pretend time. She handled Brock with ease. And Steel hadn't even been... You suck. Even Pounded Misty... Oh, fuck you. Are you using a Game Shark with this too? But yeah, Pounded Misty... Trademark. With no trouble at all. She wasn't as adversely affected by super effective attacks as others. Did more damage than a regular Charmander. She was a veritable powerhouse. She even became a Charizard at the mere level of 25. Not bad at all, I must say. Also not possible, I must say. Things started to get weird though. Up until now, everything was pretty normal. I mean, it was completely different, but now, they're getting a little funny, I will admit. Though, as soon as I reached Lavender Town, alright. So we're here. We're this part of the story, Lavender Town. You couldn't resist, could you? You had to go to Lavender Town. I know, I know. Lavender Town is the focus behind every creepy story. Remember Ben drowned and its focus on Lavender Town and the like. But it was the only place that was noticeably different. So we had... shut up. There was no Team Rocket invasion, which I found odd. Was there a Team Rocket invasion? I just remember Gary being there and having to get a Sylph Scope from somewhere else. But I don't think that was in Lavender Town. They hacked the crap out of this game. Anyways, author found this odd. Though I did remember this was a year in the past. So the invasion wouldn't occur until Red's time. I tried to enter the Pokemon Tower aiming to get a Ghastly, which you wouldn't be able to do because you don't have a Sylph Scope, and I haven't seen you get a Pokédoll either, so there's no use in that trick. But that's when it go odd. The author gave up. Steven said, I have no reason to be here, ... Steven wouldn't go into Pokemon Tower no matter what I did. This was weird. I mean, hell, there are a million places in Kanto you really have no need to be, little random houses with nothing but children NPCs, for example. What? I'm not sure what point you were trying to make there, author. But why was it here that Steven wouldn't enter? With a shrug, I figured I wouldn't need a Ghastly, seeing as Miki could handle anything. Miki's going to die horribly. Call it a hunch. I don't know. Or kill the author. I'm hoping for the second one. So I simply went on my way. Lavender Town serving no purpose other than a passageway for the Poké Center. The story's gonna end in Lavender Town and everyone's gonna be dead. The game progressed normally from there. The remaining gyms fell. I destroyed them after I got my badge. And eventually I made my way to the Elite Four and defeated them. They sucked. As with Blue, my brother Mike was there before me, initiating the championship battle, which Miki swept with ease. You're cheating, and I don't appreciate it, okay? The aftermath of the battle was quite pleasant. None of the tension that was present between Red and Blue at the end of their match. There was no tension there. Blue lost, and then you laughed. It was a great moment, honestly. And then you got to keep doing it over and over again to grind experience. Best time of my life. The brothers congratulated each other, though, on their progress and shook hands before the screen went white. No Hall of Fame, nor any credits. When the screen came back, it was at their house again. The two brothers sitting at the computer. What were they doing at the computer? We're not that far in technology, right? But this is a year before Pokemon came out. But conversing with each other. Steven said, I don't want to, ... Mike said, come on, I just gotta borrow her for a second to finish the Pokedex. The entry won't register unless she recognizes me as master for a second. Steven said, but she's my Miki, ... Mike said, I promise I'll give her back, Come on, please. Yes, no. I was a bit perplexed, so I hit no to be cautious. Mike, come on, please. No, in all caps. Mike, come on, please. I realized this would simply continue to loop until I hit yes. When in doubt, just say yes, apparently. That's a really, really bad message to send, author. So I did, just to see what would happen. You're a part of the problem, by the way. Mike, alright, this will just take a sec. Then we'll both be Pokemasters. Steven, ... Sometimes I have people yell at me for saying the dots. That was not an ellipses by any means. That was a couple. The screen changed to the animation shown when two people trade Pokemon, which I found a bit weird, seeing as I was solo. But well, you can trade with NPCs, and I'm pretty sure they still show the animation, don't they? But whatever. This was what was apparently supposed to happen. Miki went first. I watched lazily as she began to travel down the trading tube. Snap! I love that game. But that made me jump. The sudden noise resonating in my silent bedroom. Loud due to the volume being way up. The volume of a Game Boy is not that great. But looked at the screen, I noticed the game had seemed to freeze. Miki still in mid-trade, but the game wasn't doing anything. With a sigh, I had turned off the game, wondering when my last save was. When the game turned back on, I stared for a moment at the start screen. There was no Charizard next to the trainer. Upon pressing start, I saw the new game option was absent, leaving only continue. This was ... strange to say the least, so I selected it. The game starting without even showing my stats as usual, which I don't actually think you've continued yet while playing this, so you wouldn't know, would you? But my jaw dropped at what I was greeted with. 1 year later. Oh god, not a time skip. The Lavender Town theme came first. See? Did I predict this? Lavender Town. You're a bastard. But the Lavender Town theme came first. Playing its normal way. You know the one. The screen slowly fading in from blackness. Steven was in the Pokemon Tower, which made the music even stranger, seeing as the tower had its own theme. He was standing in front of a tombstone, not doing anything. Wondering what was going on, I pressed A. Steven, ... Confused, I tried walking, realizing I was indeed in control at the moment. I brought up the pause menu and checked my party. Miki was gone. Not just Miki, all Pokemon that I hadn't mentioned at all, so we don't know who they are. He had nothing. The Pokedex was absent from the menu. His bag was empty. Honestly, concerned now. Now I'm worried. But I checked his trainer card. He had no money. He had no badges. His playtime was 8,795 hours, an oddly specific number, which was impossible as I had only 30 logged in before. But that wasn't the strangest part. It's not really strange. But his picture and the picture of the handsome, confident young trainer was ... different. D words. His eyes were blank. His face turned slightly down. That smirk, I loved that smirk of his. It was gone, replaced by a lack of any expression at all. That long hair of his, before in a perfect perm. What? That sounds awful, but was now messy and unkempt, like Yuriofwind's hair. I couldn't look at him anymore. Closing the menu, I went to move out of the tower, but with every step I took away from the tombstone, the screen flickered, like it did when a Pokemon was poisoned. Gulping, I brought up the trainer card again. His picture was getting worse. Every step I took, he hung his head more and more. His shoulders slumped, he bent over. By the time I had exited the tower, he was on his knees, hands on his face, hair draped across him. I had guessed already what was going on. This is hacks? This is hacked. I'm going with this is hacked. But this cinched it. I began to put some things together in my mind. Oh god, here we go. I had always wondered why there was no champion in the original games besides your rival. Why is it you, the protagonist, had to beat your rival when he just waltzed in, no previous champion to challenge? I thought Lance was, or I thought it was made up of champion. Who are you to judge, author, is a better question, I think. Then it struck me. The answer was right here. The previous champion gave up. Damn it. His precious Miki was apparently dead, and with her, so died part of him. That's not how that works. His Pokedex, the other Pokemon, his badges, his fame, all of it, he threw it away in that year, the year that I missed. You didn't miss it so much as we did a time skip. You couldn't have missed it. It doesn't exist. We're using it to advance the plot. That's all. The year where all those hours came from. I'm not going to fact check if that's how many hours there are in a year. But I even did the math. Oh, good. The author did the math. Great. I don't have to do shit. There is 8,765 hours in a year. Add that to my 30 from before, and it matched up. Woohoo. Even so, the game kept going. This should have been an ending, I thought. Not a good one, but still. I mean, what else was there to do? I had no Pokedex, no Pokemon, not anything. What was I supposed to be doing? I talked to everyone in the town, but they all said similar things. Are you okay? Still mourning, I see, ... Everything will be alright, ... Please, ... Is there anything we can do? Money. I'll buy a new one. Stephen never replied to them, and they all simply said the same things over and over. I couldn't put the game down now. Now it was suddenly really interesting when no one was engaging me with original conversation. I like this pre-made shit. This was also strange though, curious. I headed off into the tall grass and eventually got into a battle with a Rattata. No Pokemon was sent out, just Steven's sprite. I was wondering how I'd battle. Wild Rattata, lefty be. If only that happened in real life. The battle ended without anything happening. This was certainly interesting, and it happened with every Pokemon I encountered. Wild Pidgey ignored you. Wild Ponyta wandered off. Maybe they just don't like you, like as a person, and they're just like, fuck it, and they leave. But the music never changed either, no matter where I went. Lavender Town, again, playing a key role in the story, because you couldn't help yourself. But Lavender Town came from the speakers following me. Sometimes slowed down slightly, sometimes not, can't decide, we're not sure. I searched everywhere, every town, talked to everybody, wondering just what the hell I needed to do. My frustration was mixing with the depressing atmosphere of all this, making the experience altogether unnerving and uncomfortable somehow. But I couldn't tear myself away. I hope the batteries die at some point, because you've been playing this for 30 hours apparently. They gotta be going out soon. I was starting to get a bit angry though. First I was depressed, now I'm angry. We have problems here, clearly. But nobody telling me anything besides giving me their condolences and being all nice and stuff and trying to give me items like lemonade or coffee. How dare they? That sounds so pleasant. Each met with, Stephen said, ... no, ... I slapped myself for idiocy. Well, I'm glad someone did. Suddenly realizing how the likely answer was right in front of me. Author, a PhD of Pokemon. Pallet Town, of course. That's a thought, right? So when I went there though, which took a long time, having to walk, no Pokemon to fly with, no bicycle to ride, and Steven, wait, but you can't get back that way because you're blocked off by Mount Moon, so there is no way back to Pallet Town, you're fucked! But I'll suspend my disbelief for the time being. And Steven only seemed to move half the regular movement speed. It wasn't much different. I first tried talking to Prof. Oak. These things happen, ... You were just unlucky. Next, I tried Blue's sister. Please, ... Don't leave home again, ... Red's mom wouldn't even talk to me at all. She was having none of this. With nowhere else in mind to go, I walked to the west. Are we walking into a wall, or are we going to the Pokemon League again? Finding the house from the beginning, which I had never entered since leaving Pallet Town. Did he mention a house from the beginning? This is all a blur to me. But inside was Mike, but talking to him was just useless. As per usual. Mike said, I'm so sorry, ... I pondered for a moment if this really was the ending. Stephen doomed to do nothing but roam Kanto in misery, haunted by the memories, forced to listen to everyone's concerns about him. As a last-ditch effort to do anything, I went to the bedroom and walked over to the bed, because that's where all the exciting stuff happens. Stephen said, "I'm going to sleep, ... The screen faded to black for a moment, but then slowly faded back in, the world having a black tint to it, the mic sprite laying in the other bed. I assumed this meant it was night." Stephen said, "I'm going to do it." Do what? Again, I had no idea. Tried expecting everything in the room. Nothing happened. As soon as I left the house, another dialogue. Stephen said, "It can bring her back, ... No, 4 dots now. Now we're not even ellipses, you crazy bastard. It can do anything, ... Back to ellipses. What in the hell was it? It was that movie with the clown. I didn't like it. I don't like clowns. But something that could do anything? Oh, I couldn't for the life of me figure it out. Wandering about, I tried to leave Pallet Town the usual way." Stephen said, "Not that way. You wouldn't go any further. I tried the homes." Stephen said, "Screw them. This hack would never make it past Nintendo's certification process in the 90s. But I quirked my eyebrow at that, forgetting for a moment this was not a real Pokemon game. The vulgarity. He said screw. Calm down, prude. Just took me off guard. I mean, he said screw. That's serious." I continued to look around though, but there was nowhere I could go. Until I accidentally stepped on the ocean, and Stephen walked right in. Only the upper half of his sprite visible, like the swimmers you encounter in the Cerulean Gym. I didn't know he could swim. I don't know why I think that's funny, but alright. Stephen said, "The missing one, ... Missing one?" I paused for a moment. No, he couldn't possibly mean ... That, comma, I hadn't tried the missing no trick on this hack yet, but it just fit too well. Made too much sense. That had to be what he meant. I, quote-unquote, surfed, and by surfed, I mean walked halfway underwater-ish, all the way towards Cinnabar. I began to feel something was off. I was wet. Also, more so than this already was, silence. The Lavender Town theme had stopped. Thank God, frankly. There was no noise at all, nor were there any Pokemon. I just kept going, finding Cinnabar and surfing up and down. You're not surfing, you're walking up and down the coast. And lo and behold, Wild Missing No appeared. Stephen, mine, ... Stephen, that's not how we use our words. Wild Missing No was caught, apparently just by saying mine. That's how you get Pokemon now. They made Let's Go really easy, huh? But what the hell? Stephen didn't do anything. He just commanded that atrocity of broken data, as if you're any better, to join him. No, became his possession. And it did. I saw it, and then I pointed it out. I was getting more and more disturbed by this all. Checking the start menu, I saw Missing No was not in my party, but instead an item, making things even stranger. I checked the trainer's card as well. Stephen has his back to me. I doubt he's the only person. His long hair draped behind him, his hands in his pockets. Nothing else. That's a great descriptor. Nothing else. I don't know. Maybe he was wearing pants. Nothing else. Remembering what he said at the start of this night, I realized what I had to do, ... I surfed to land. You didn't surf. You walked. You waddled. And made my way northeast to, where else, Lavender Town. What did I fucking say? This whole story, it's gonna end in Lavender Town. I knew it. You're cliche. I didn't even read this beforehand. I stopped doing that a while ago. Along the way, though, I noticed all the trainers, they were waiting for this one, oddly still at this hour wouldn't look at Steven. Go to hell, Steven, everyone thought. All of them turning when he passed. Even those that were normally static, they especially hated Steven. I tried talking to one of the officers in the guardhouse type buildings, as they're called technically. Just go, ... They all said the same thing, though one sent chills down my spine. Sometimes dead is best. That's a weird thing for a guardhouse type officer to say. But my hands were sweating by this point. I hope the sweat seeps into the Game Boy and it just stops everything, so this can all go away. But Steven was about to try the impossible, something some would see as a crime against nature. Remember that one scene in Fullmetal Alchemist with the dog? Yeah, that's right. Which many of these people shared that opinion. I steeled myself. It's just a game, a hacked game, mind you. And I was going to complete it, even if that meant going against nature itself. It took an eternity to reach Pokemon Tower, but at least it was a location you could actually reach this time around, as opposed to the walk back. But I got there eventually. Taking a deep breath and heading towards the tombstone, I remembered which one. The image of Steven standing before it was buried into my mind after all. First, I tried inspecting it. Steven said, Miki, ... Nothing happened. With a gulp, I opened the menu and selected Missing No from the bag. Then Oak said, that's right, suddenly Professor Oak is an involved part of this story here, but he said, Steven, don't use it. I'm with your mom right now, but don't use that, okay? I was reminded of when Prof. Oak would magically tell you that you couldn't use a key item somewhere, like when you're using the bicycle in a building, though the message this time was different. Even worse, Steven responded to it. You know, I respond to those a lot too, though it's generally with an audible fuck. Like, oh, fuck. What do you mean I can't ride this bike indoors? What are you, the bike police? Steven said, in a world that cheated me, why should I play fair, ... Steven used, in quotations, it, and then, there's so many dots. I'm not gonna say dot for every one of them, but there's 4 lines of, I want to say at least more than 10 dots with each line, so try to imagine that atrocity. But Steven obtained M at $! Exclamation point. What in God's name did I obtain? Good question. I couldn't tell you. You're of no help. Why did you raise the question? Because the game took away my control. Oh, so it's not your fault suddenly. Without my input, Steven began to leave the tower on his own. Finally, independent man, walking single step by single step, because he couldn't do any other form of travel. The Lavender Town theme started again, because of course it would, as he left the tower and began his excruciatingly slow journey against my will. And it's not like I could turn off the Game Boy or take out the batteries. Those are stupid ideas. Every time he crossed one of the borders where the music would change, it got progressively slower, much and more disturbing. By the time he reached Cerulean City, it was a demonic rumbling. I just stared, watching him, trying to guess where he was going, but it was getting more and more obvious. He was heading to Pallet Town. I'd like to point out again, he can't, because he can't hop over that rock fence thing. You need to fly there, or like swim or something. You can't go back on foot, is what I'm saying. The music had all but stopped when he got there, playing single note by single note. I feel like we just said single by single, but okay. He went exactly where I had guessed, right to his own house. That monster inside, comma, and up the stairs. At this point, there was no music. Stephen moved step by step. Stop it! It's like the third time. Stop talking about steps. No more steps. Stopping at his brother's bed, turning to face him. At first, comma, I thought the game froze. No, that would be too convenient. There's still more text in the story. He didn't do anything, simply stood there, and I couldn't move him. I did, however, find out I could open the pause menu. I was terrified to look, but I couldn't stop myself. You people and your inability to stop yourself or turn things off. But I selected his trainer card. There was a low growl noise, like a distorted Pokemon cry. Steven was looking at me again, directly at the screen. He was hunched over, his bangs obscuring his face. His hair was wild and feathered out. Between his bangs, there wasn't even a face at all. Just black. Two eyes looking straight forward. A white grin contrasting with the darkness. That wasn't all. Oh no. His name was now... Finally, something scary. His name now was S! 3v3n period. No, I'm not going to say that as what you want me to say it as. I couldn't look away, though. It was so misspelled. It was nuts. My eyes glued to his, not breaking contact for some time. My vision was getting blurry. Oh, it was so misspelled. Until I couldn't see very well. Because that's what happens when your vision gets blurry. My face grew wet. Okay, well that's not necessary. I was crying, though, like a baby. So it finally comes out. Now we know. The author's a baby. Kudos on using the computer. There was nothing I could do, though. I've heard that before. To hold back the tears, I mean. I was with this boy from the start. 30 hours. I built him up to greatness. Sure you did. I didn't catch any other Pokemon, though, I think. I mean, allegedly I might have, but really, no. But was then forced to watch his decline after a tragic accident. And now, ... he was this thing. This abomination. So he grew his hair out. Whoop-de-doo. I watched him go insane. Oh no, he's insane now. Halting my tears, wiping my eyes, I closed out of the trainer card and tried to save the game. Because I want to see if I can get the other endings for this. And wanting to just quit. I couldn't hit the off button, by the way. I had to save first. It was important that I kept all my progress. The game informed me, though. This was impossible. I dare you to try and flip the switch on the side of the Game Boy. Not gonna work. Glued it. Nothing can be saved now. The pause menu wouldn't close, no matter what I did, even when I paused it. So, with no other option, I checked the bag. Nothing happened. I checked Pokemon, and there was one. A single sprite met me. It had 0 HP. Its status, DED. You're not a word. Its name, M at number $. Yeah. I selected it, and I was greeted with 4 options. Status, it's her, ... Switch, never, close, ... no, ... and strangle. My fingers shaking. I selected strangle. Why would you select strangle? Like, I don't know. Status, switch, close. This strangle option, though. That sounds like something positive. Let's go with that. And the menu closed, showing Steven in his room again. God, I can't imagine what he's doing. Horribly misspelled Steven said, goodbye, ... Snap. That's not a strangle. That's more of a snap. The game shut itself off. You could have done that, genius. I was more dumbfounded than frightened and dumb. In a bit of shock, I turned it back on. The title screen showing the manic misspelled Steven and a horribly glitched Charizard. I pressed start, then continue. All I saw was a zoomed out view of Pallet Town showing Steven's home to the west, tall grass surrounding it, those unmovable stones blocking it from the rest of the town. The image was completely static. No music, no movement, before fading to white, going back to the title screen. It was as it had been when I first popped it in. A trainer and a Charizard. I attempted to continue. ... No ... Written by unknown. We'll assume it was Tom. I like to assume all these were written by Tom. But that was Pokemon Strangled Red, and that was hot garbage. I think I've had this story recommended to me for a while. I feel like, it's probably made its run in the creepypasta scene. I wouldn't know because I don't fucking pay attention. Yeah, this story sucks. You could have had something original going. If you wanted to do this weird prequel to Gen 1, where perhaps rap was a great move. But instead, you just rely on the same tropes. You start your story off saying, look, I know a lot of these things have tropes and are hacked and blah, 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 and then you immediately go into it. And worst of all, Lavender Town? Really? That's a crux of your story. You not only go there, the theme plays probably for at least half of your actual game time in the story. Bad author, I slap you on the wrist. This has been bullshit Creepypasta Storytime, though. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Endslate. I hope you enjoyed the new bullshit Creepypasta Storytime on Pokemon Strangled Red, aka that stupid story I just read that is, we're somehow over 50 minutes again. That's 2 times in a row in a span of a week, and it's very unnatural. It shouldn't happen, but it did, and I apologize if I frightened anyone on this spookiest of spooky months. Oh god, he's consistent. Run! Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, though. If you did, and you want to subscribe or hit that bell or you can do that. Though I'm not sure if any of those things actually do anything, considering I've had people tell me they haven't seen my uploads in over a year. If YouTube wants to clarify why they're not sending uploads to people, please. Anyways, yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Oh, wait a second. But the video's not done, is it? No, because it's Endslate, and I have some people to thank. If you like my videos, and you, for some reason, think they're worth supporting, I have a Patreon, and for long videos, which seems to be most of them these days, but for longer videos, we do live thank yous. So I have some people to thank. And so, as always, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Rodrigo Dares. I'm sorry I'm sick, Rodrigo. You can kind of hear it in the voice, I think. I don't fucking know. Thank you, Skinny720. Thank you very much, Deshaun Lewis, a.k.a. Shadow Wolf, Ragnar the Green, Queen Sapphire. My glasses are also jacked, besides my voice, so it's hard to read names. Funding Yuri's hair, thank you, much needed. Thank you, Snooper, Lily Starflame, Mr. Mohawk, Aria, Matthew Newitt, Mark Ryan, Jamie Trashhawk, Cube Inder, Tara Katreya. What? Damn it, why do I mess that up? Tara Katreya? Thank you. Thank you, Kamimmoon, Kevin Reagan, Michael Holder II, Airman, so difficult to defeat, Brian, not as difficult to defeat, but that would be a great robot boss name, Mega Man 12, Brian. Thank you, JJ Summers, Nikki Layman, D-Man's Land, Nolan, Christina, Andrew Arana, Crunchy Face, Fernando Silva. No, I said that right. I thought I messed up. Turns out, no, we're good. But thank you, Beautiful Yoshi, and Nat Potter, as well as JTH, Glasses, No Man's, wow. Monswift plus Thundrum. Yuriofwind goes for the gold, screwing that up. I'm really sorry. I tried. You can't say I didn't try. I was clearly trying there. But thank you, Lucas. Region Locked, Kobe O'Kelly, Antonio Ongueno. I think I question myself every time. Like, is it? I think it is. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you, Tristan Craig, Carl Erickson, Sean Carter, Blinker002, Sebastian Zavala, Justice Thompson, Rad R. That's pretty rad. It is. Thank you, Nikki Batelli. Glasses. Chaotic Turtle, Joel Segura, Andrew Silverman, John Garcia, Zachary Alexander, My Other Kitty is a Tiger, M8S4M0 is my favorite mobile suit, Michael P. Glasses, no! I'm getting new ones soon. Efrey684. We're gonna hope that's right. Thank you, Lennon Walrus, Pokemaniac, Link the 8th, Kyle Nicholas, Jameson Wiley, Friend Carrick, Alec Dixon, Chrome Party, John Paul Hoare, Darth Penguin, Mitchell Shore, Abdul Kareem Torres, The Wheels on the Bus Go Die Die Die, Greg Wolf, Mr. Bowler, Sergio, M Gamers, Mio Kurashima, Escape Route British, Rory O'Carroll, Kempachi Ramasama, Anthony Mang, Fat D, Eric Camacho. Fat D threw me off, Eric Camacho. Thank you, Jonathan Klaus, Ryan Cole, Jacob Epler, Tessie Desu, Preblamemic, and anyone who supports me on Patreon or on Twitch. Thank you all for the support and the outreach of the kindness. I'm about to check Audacity. Let's see what's going on. Ooh, only 6 minutes. Damn. Thought maybe we could break an hour. We still could, technically, but I'm not going to put you through that. Thank you all again for watching the video. I hope you all have a nice day or night. Whatever time zone, whatever time it is where you are. I'm going to go take a nap. Or take a lozenge. One of those. Maybe both. Though not at the same time. Until next time, though. I'm Yuriofwind. This has been Enslate. Bye-bye.